morning. Welcome to Miss Annette's little farm in the big city. I've had my coffee and the sun is up, so that means it's time for me to get outside. I have a pad and paper so that I can write down some of the things I need to do today. One of the first things I need to do, though, is bring you along. So go ahead and get your outside clothes on, and let's get ready to go outside so you can see some of the things that it takes to run Miss Annette's little farm. Ready? Let's go! One of the things on my list is I need to make some sugar water for the bees. I noticed last week when I got in the beehive that one of the hives didn't have very much honey stored. And bees need about 60 pounds of honey stored in their hive to make it through the winter. So I'm going to start feeding the bees, and what I feed them is sugar water. I'm going to feed them sugar water, so it's going to be half sugar, half water. And I'm going to be using boiling water. Of course, I'm not going to feed the bees the water when it's boiling, but I'm making it first thing so that in the afternoon it'll be nice and cool, and then I can feed it to the bees. So as soon as the water's ready, which is boiling on the stove right now, then it'll be ready for me to put the hot water in there and change it into sugar water. So I'm going to put the sugar. I really hope the bees make it through the winter this year. We've had some trouble. Water's ready. Okay, I'm going to put it right here for right now. You finish filling in this last jar. I'm also making an extra jar. I have one jar for each hive, and then I'm making an extra one, and that one is for the hummingbird feeders. So the hummingbirds like the sugar water as well, and I try to make sure that their feeders are full because we just like looking at those cute little hummingbirds. Do you have any hummingbird feeders at your house? Well, this is what I feed them. I feed them sugar water. So I think that's pretty good. And I'll bring the camera in so you can see. So we have the sugar, and the water is nice and hot. And these mason jars work out really well because they can take the heat. They can take that hot water. I'll get a little fork to mix it. You can see how it's already getting clear. And then I mix it up. If I didn't mix it, it might ball up a little bit. And so looks good. All right. So we'll let those cool for a few hours, and then I'll put them out on the beehives. All right? So I got the sugar water marked off my list. It's time to go outside and feed the animals. I'm outside. I'm going to turn the hose on because having clean water for animals is very important. I turn the hose on. I have a hose that goes all the way down to the barns. Now I've got to get their food. Time for breakfast. You can hear the goats. The goats eat these pellets for breakfast and dinner. There's the goats. Now we gotta put the chickens and the ducklings. And this is what they eat. It looks like ground corn, doesn't it? We're going to stack this all up and take it down to the barn. I'm going to go feed the ducks and get their water ready for them. I've turned the water on already, so it's kind of making a mess. Now I'm going to go give the goats their breakfast. Good morning. Uh-oh, there's a chicken in here. Here you go. All right. I got to open the gate. Let everybody out. Looks like I need to put some hay in here too. So I'll do that in a minute. Time to feed the chickens. All right, everybody's hungry. There's a lot of action in the morning. I like to get my chores done early because it gets hot in the afternoon. And when it's cool in the morning, it makes your chores a lot easier and more fun. I'm getting ready to clean the barn and rake, so I've got some fresh hay for the goats. I've got some fresh bedding. I've got some diatomaceous earth, and I'm getting my trusty rake. And I'm going to meet you out at the barn. I like to keep the barnyard raked up. For one thing, the goats and the chickens share the barnyard, and chickens poop everywhere, so I don't like the goats to have to walk in poop or anything like that. So I like to keep it clean, and I compost the materials that I rake up, so it serves two purposes. Sometimes I get distracted by how cute these animals are when I'm trying to do my chores. They like attention too. So I'm finished with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and go clean the barn. It looks great, doesn't it? Nice and... I'm going to put some fresh hay out for the goats to distract them from what I'm doing, because goats are very nosy. And ducks are very noisy. Well, this is the inside of the barn, and you can see there is poo-poo everywhere. And I have to clean all that up. I've come up with a solution, because the chickens like to roost high, and they've been getting up there. And usually I have the goat hay hanging right here. So I'm going to move it to over here by the door. And I think that'll work better, because then the chickens won't poo in the hay. Well, I better get started and get this mess cleaned up. I also clean out the spider webs when I'm in here, because I know when I have guests, people aren't very fond of spiders, so I clean all the spider webs as well. I have my rake. I'm going to rake everything out, and then I will use it in the garden. So everything on Miss Annette's farm, we try to make sure that we get the most use out of everything that we have. So, I'm going to get all this poo cleaned up. So I have the goat area pretty much raked out, so now I'm going to clean the chicken area, which is stinky and very poopy. I thought maybe I'd show you what's making all that noise out here on the farm. The ducks are having a swim party. They're so cute. Back to work. So I've got the litter. I got my pink knife. Now I'm just going to spread it all over inside the barn. And it's going to smell so much better because the litter's fresh. It's pine shavings. It really makes the barn, and the goats love it because they love to eat pine trees. So when I put this in, they kind of really are standing at the door. So now the barn is clean, or the big barn. I still have to go clean up the duck barn and harvest some vegetables, plant some vegetables. We still have a big day ahead of us. And Ashley just wanted to say hi because she was helping me clean the barn. Oops. Alrighty. And this is a nice, clean, sweet-smelling barn. The litter is nice and clean. It smells really good in here. And now I'm going to let the animals in. So, the chickens in first. There we go. And then the goats. Is your barn nice and clean now? You like it, Dulce? Oh, she's excited. Look at how sweet it smells. Now that I have the inside of the barn cleaned out, I still have some work to do. I need to move the dirty litter to the garden, and I like to sweep the outside of the barn to make sure there aren't any spider webs. I'm working on the last of it, and then I'll show you where I'm putting it. I have just a little bit left. I got all the litter cleaned up. I'm a little hot and sweaty. I'll show you the garden. I'm going to flip the camera around. Hopefully it won't make you dizzy. See, I put the litter between my beds. I planted some cold weather plants, some kale, and some cabbage, some cauliflower. Now the garden is nice and neat again. I'm going to put the litter in there to help keep the weeds down and to help the soil by putting those nutrients back into the soil. Before I clean out the duck barn, I think I'm going to hang up my laundry and feed the bees. I like to have my sheets outside to dry in the sun. Anyway, I've got that part done. I'm going to go feed the bees now. Sometimes they like to hang out on it. There's one. There's the other one. Ooh. Hi, girls. You're busy. Alright. Go inside and put the lids on the other box. Alright, so I have my jars filled and I'm going to go ahead and feed the bees. Here you go. And there you guys go. Alright. Now I got to get that duck pen clean because it's getting hot out here. Well, before I clean the duck pen out, I'm going to let the ducklings run around in the yard because they get really worked up when I'm in the pen moving around. And so I'm going to let them loose. I'm going to get in there, I'm going to clean, and then I'll let them back. I got to get my break while we wait for you to come outside. Come on. Really full of sand and dirt. I think 3 little ducklings would make so much poo. Just gotta get some clean hay and they're all set. Well, we still have a few things to do, but I think we're gonna stop right here for you guys. That was a lot of work for you guys. Thank you for coming along and helping me. Couldn't have done it without you. Anyway, thank you for coming to the little farm. We'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, you guys. It's the end of the day. It's sundown, and I'm getting ready to go put the animals to bed. I wanted you guys to see these little cookies. The goats go to bed. They have to have a little night-night cookie, so I have to give them some cookies. I thought you guys might enjoy seeing that. See, it's really quiet. There's a bunny rabbit. Duckies are getting the last drink of water before they go to bed. Goats are waiting for their night-night cookies. And the chickens are eating their last little snack before they go to bed. Okay, time for bed. See you guys in the morning. All right.